Hey guys, Zero here, welcome back to Let's Play RuneScape. I've got a feeling that Jagex is going to make a big announcement today. It's Friday, that means we normally get a video, but it's the last Friday of 2013, and Jagex has been hinting about a big announcement. So I think it's going to be today. I'm going to keep my eyes open, and I'll be back with you guys in a little bit. Okay guys, here it is, RuneScape 2014, power to the players. We have a new article and a new video as well. There's a lot of content here, but it looks like next year we are going to have a much bigger say in what the update schedule looks like. They're building a new polling system right in the game. That means we're making big decisions about future content in the game itself. I think that's going to add a ton of value. And I think it means that we're going to be aware of updates at a much earlier stage in the development process. This is going to change the way that Jagex promotes content. Players are going to be talking about it. They'll have to give us a very clear description of the options when we're voting on them. And that's going to give us a good structure to think about these things and speculate about what's coming. And then when the behind the scenes videos come out, Jagex can focus on what the process has been like creating things that we have asked for and what they'll be like when they get into the game. I think it's going to change things a lot, and for the better. The players and Jagex are going to be on the same page. Big updates that go into the game, these are definitely going to be things that players wanted. A lot of times when people criticize updates, they imagine that no one possibly wanted these things. And now it's going to be very clear that these updates were the ones that people wanted the most. I hope that they'll still find a way to appeal to the niche communities within RuneScape. This is such a big game that people have, people like different things. Some people love PVM, some people love the stories and quests. And I think that's a great thing. I think that it's great that RuneScape is so big that small communities have developed within it. And hopefully Jagex will be able to produce updates that help those communities to thrive, even though we have a polling system that will tend to select the thing that most people want to the exclusion of the things that small groups want. That's a big deal. So the first thing they want us to choose between here is the invention skill or the elf city. Which one do you want first? For myself, I think that if the invention skill came out first, I would still be busy with that when the elf city came out, and then I would have to choose between them again. So I just want to choose once. Let's have the elf city come out and invention skill afterwards. That's my preference anyways. What type of Easter event do you want? Traditional fun with bunnies and eggs, or a comedy 6th age event featuring Marimbo and Braska Prime? Oh man, okay, this one's easy for me. I really want to see Braska Prime and Marimbo go head to head. That's going to be a lot of fun. Which group of creatures should receive a drop table rework first? Okay, this is a big topic for me. I think that Jagex needs to rethink drop tables in a big way. I think they should consider developing a system that allows them to macro manage the drop tables instead of having to do it on a creature by creature basis. So it's very scalable. And I think they should consider removing a lot of worthless items. The small things that don't really have value. I don't feel like it gives value to my training. I feel like it's clutter that's more in the way. And ever since the evolution of combat has come out, there's less headspace to be selecting among drops because you're spending so much more time focusing on combat, which is great, So if they reduce the frequency of low value drops and increase the quantity of those items when they did drop, it would reward people more when they pick them up. It would be less clutter on the ground and less switching between doing combat and gathering loot. I also think they should stop borrowing items from other skills. Stop borrowing the valued stuff that people train their skills to make. So an example would be Rune Scimitar, or like a battle stave or something like that. Crafting and smithing. A lot of times when Jagex creates a drop table, they're using those items, those 10 to 50k ranged items, to boost the drop table. And I think that takes away from those skills. It devalues them. Because one of the great things about skills in RuneScape is that people who really love smithing and crafting and rune crafting, they provide a service to people who really love melee and ranged and magic, right? That service that players provide for each other improves the community. And so what if, instead of stealing items from other skills, they dropped unique items that added value to the other skills, so that people who liked combat could get drops that they could provide to people who really love smithing. Let's say you get a drop that you could combine and forge with a rune plate body to make a better item. I think that would add a lot of value to smithing, and that would develop a relationship between different types of players and improve the community as a whole. Never mind the fact that it would make those skills more valuable on their own, and it wouldn't cost, it wouldn't be such a GP sink to go and train them. So I think there's a lot of ways that would benefit. What else do we have here? Which type of dragon would you like to see added to the game? I think there's a lot of people out there that want to see rune dragons added, and then dragon dragons added into the game. Maybe April 1st, 2014, we'll get dragon dragons. Decide on a themed map for a brand new secret mini game. Oh wow. I don't know. I don't really have a lot to say about that without more information, but sounds interesting for sure. Should we change the quantity and type of game worlds? Oh, there's a lot they can do with this one. I think before they reduce the quantity of game worlds, if they think that's best, they need to address a couple of things. I like the idea of being able to skill with more people around, but not with more things in the way. And right now, the fact that I can click on other people's pets and summoning familiars and clan avatars, I feel like that is not a feature. That is just a bug that needs to be corrected. If they reduce the quantity of game worlds before addressing that, it would become a bigger problem. So, and as far as the type of game worlds they can do, I've heard that right now Jagex is working very hard on a client for the HTML5 graphics that people will be able to download, and that a lot of the graphics will actually be downloaded with it. I think that gives Jagex a lot of room to do themed worlds that are not just discriminating among players based on their level or on preferences in terms of gameplay. I think they can actually create skins, reskin worlds, and make them look different. I don't know how far people would want to go with that, and I think there's some ways to do it that are not good, but I think there's some ways to do that that would add a lot of interest into the game and a lot of novelty. Very cool. But, one more thing here. I would like to see Jagex add a way for players to be more creative in the game. So far this last year, we have seen a lot of choice in terms of the story and big stories in the game. And now we're seeing big decisions about future content being built right into the game. I would like to see ways for people to be creative in big ways in RuneScape itself. Maybe that will include some of these skins, right? But there's some other interesting ways that maybe I'll get the chance to talk about at a later date. But in the last year, the community management team did a great job with the weekly roundups, making it very clear that Jagex cared about the creative work that people were doing in the community. And I think there's big ways they can do that in the game itself. We'll handle the rest. Okay, yeah, so, Jagex is a business. Most of the time, we have the same interests with Jagex. We like to make sure that players get a fair deal, that the game is vibrant and growing, and that the content is a lot of fun. But, Jagex is a business at the end of the day. They want to provide a service to us that is worth more to us than the money that we have, so that we help them survive as a company. And I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. They're providing a service to us, and they've got to find ways to keep that going. Here's to the future. Increased emphasis on high-level content, activities for veterans. Increase the number of quests. I've heard that they want to do more than 10 quests next year. That's pretty cool. Everyday gameplay experience. The Ninja team. I think the Ninja team is off to a huge start. They're just doing such a good job. Those small changes makes RuneScape feel like a well-oiled machine, a very well-developed, refined game. And I think the voting process is going to help with that a lot. Yeah, pretty cool. But I think all three of these are easy for Jagex to talk about because most of the people that are reading this article are interested in one of these three things, even if they're all true. So, I don't know, we'll see how it all works out, but pretty interesting stuff. So, that's all I've got for today, guys. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.